Hey everybody, it's Fanatic here. Is everybody else's storage of their Pokemon, their cases, getting full all the time? I'm trying to start keeping 3 of everything, so it's getting really full. I must apologize for not uploading over the weekend. I got really busy with a whole lot of other things, hence the bit of the beard. Sometimes I had 1 hour, maybe even 30 minutes sleep, and then I had to carry on working on one of my jobs. But what I did do is I did record in the Ground Cup. I did an excellent 11-win streak, and I recorded all of that, and I'm putting it all together. But this video is just actually to go through the updates. I've got some of the figures, so we'll go through the figures, and I'll edit out me going to them. But obviously Raikou and Garchomp have appeared. So all of these EX Pokemons, I mean, I've got all of them except for the Swamp. So I don't think I'll be opening up any boosters for this one because I've got them already. I mean, I've been playing some of the League, and Raikou's only appeared once in all of the games that I've played, and I've played about 5. So I don't think anybody's taking advantage of the new plate that's available. So as per the patterns going, we're going to have ground and electric in the next gym. So obviously our what are they called? Our limited time boosters are going to be electric and ground, and there's a new electric plate, so another electro energy, and this removes paralyzed condition from all of your electric type Pokemon. Wish it was all of your Pokemon. That would have been nicer, like the other one with tropical energy that did flying and grass. You know, can't it be electric and ground? Hell, that would have been cool. Everybody would have bought the plate. Come on, Pokemon Duel. Anyway, removes the paralyzed condition from all the electric type Pokemon, and then gives them an extra 10 damage. So all your electric type Pokemon get extra 10 damage if they're next to another electric Pokemon. So there's this adjacent thing that I really don't like. Again, I don't think it happens as often enough, but you know what, I'll probably buy the plate and try it out and give it a couple of shots. So yeah, they told us about the balances straight before the maintenance. It's like they tease us. We're going to have maintenance, and straight after that there's going to be new models, new things done to everything. Please wait. So you sit there during maintenance. Come on. And it gets even worse when you're in South Africa, because in South Africa we don't have the game in our store, so I have to wait for the APK, and the APK takes forever. I'll put a link in the description of where you can get the APKs, and I just sit there refreshing the page. Please show me the APK. When is 3.0.11 coming? 3.0.11, and it takes forever. So now I'm recording this like really late at night because finally the APK has dropped, and I've had a couple of games and gone through some of the features so that I can talk to you about it, but sometimes it takes forever. Okay, so Raikou's had a little bit of a change, and at first I thought it was a really cool change, but then I was like, oh, only one of the pieces. But still, it's a vast improvement from the model before, because I remember when I got it, I was like, oh, that's such a cool meh Pokemon. No. Anyway, let's go through it now. So it's changed the effect of non-stop, because if they explain here later on the things, they wanted to make a whole weight game. So there were some teams that would have lots of emphasis on weight, and then there were going to be anti-EX Pokemon that didn't have weight. So he still doesn't have weight, but now he can also move through weight and paralyzed Pokemon. So you can kind of combine this with a ground, adding the ground plate so that it can get more weight from your seismitoes and stuff like that, and then it can walk through. I doubt that it's ever going to be that you're going to hit a Palkia that resets a dragon to 9 weight, and then, you know, Raikou can walk straight through it. That just seems like too much of a small percentage of it happening to have an ability for it. So it's probably for the ground Pokemon to emphasize weight. And it had it added the effect of Thunderous Blow, which does Thunderous Blow is that little purple spot, and now what it does, and I'll give you the quick summary because I had to read it 3 times to understand myself. It paralyzes the Pokemon that it's hitting, and an adjacent Pokemon, not the one behind it, not the one next to it. So it would be adjacent. So you just got to kind of work out that if it was adjacent, that it would paralyze that Pokemon. So it's not going to paralyze the Pokemon behind it. Then also it changed, and how I read it is it changed bite, which is, it's got two, one on either side of the purple. It changed bite to Thunder 110. I'm like, yeah, now this is a Pokemon you can use. It only changed one of them, and the left hand side. So the left hand side is 110, the non-stop is 80, and the bite is 50. Zuck. And it increased the wheel size and decreased the wheel size of Miss. Like it once here is explaining why it did that. And if we just go back to the Pokemon, so there's Raikou, and you can see his effects. There's the 110, the 80, and the 50 that I was talking about. Pokemon can not have weight, so you can't do weight on this Pokemon, and it can move through Pokemon as a trailer. I'm trying to move it up, and that's all the text that there is. So Thunderous Blow, you can see that the battle opponent succession of the Pokemon adjacent to it become paralyzed. It would have been really cool if this did like Zapdos's paralyzed ability and just paralyzed everything connected. I mean, then I would have been like, yes, this is a Pokemon worth 2 MP, so at least it moves, it doesn't sit there. But it seems to be turning into like a bird. Like, okay, it doesn't have the roost, but it's got this 110, 80, and 50, so I kind of feel like birdified. So it's like one of the Moltres or the Zapdoses or the Articunos. So it's there, it's not. Let's go through to the other changes. So Garchomp, the other Pokemon that they've added in here, move myself around. So Garchomp, the other Pokemon that they've added in here, so they've changed the effects of Double Flight to make it a little bit more, I don't want to say OP because it's not really OP, but you know, Garchomp is actually something that you want to use. So they've changed Double Flight so that when it does Double Flight, and if it hits, if the respective if the opponent that you hit Double Flight on is affected by a special condition, it's knocked out. So you don't have to worry about jumping over it and then getting surrounded. You knock it out if it's got a special condition. And then what they've also done is they changed Dragon Rush from 90 to 100. Then they've added a new Fire Fang attack. So that Fire Fang attack actually gives you, it can affect fire. So it gives you the ability for Garchomp to give something a special condition and then jump over it and knock it out. And then fight on the other side. So, you know, they've really improved something with Garchomp. He's quite sincerely tough to work with now. Let's go take a look at the model and we'll fill that in. So, it looks like I don't have a Garchomp to go through. I need to get the Garchomp then. Got all of the Gabites, but I need to get a Garchomp. Zygarde, they've improved. I'm actually quite impressed with this. I think I'm now going to actually start using him. So, added the Land's Call ability. So what that does is it gives all ground type in the battle plus 10. So like the Manaphy giving plus 20 to all water, now we're giving plus 10 to all ground. Ground's already pretty high, so I think that's why they went for 10. So like even your Garchomps now, your Seismitoad is ground, so your Geodudes, there's tons of actually Pokemon that are ground now, and you can just stick this one at the back, and he's still got his 1 MP. His Dragon Breath is now 110, so it's a little bit higher. He's still got all those misses, so you do need to try and boost him up and get one of those misses out by leveling up to 10. But, you know, much better ability now, and I really want to put him in it. Land's Wrath is still there, so, you know, making him hit Land's Wrath and then spinning and everything that hits purple is knocked out. That's more chance than the miss with Earthquake. So it's actually very, very powerful. So I'm not surprised that he still stays there at 1 MP. But now Swampert, they're ground Pokemon, so they'll get the plus 10, and as well as his ability to make other ground Pokemon that are 1 MP, 2 MP, if there's more water. So they kind of work together now. So you didn't see really much benefit from having 1 MP ground Pokemon move faster, and now you do. So let's go take a look to his model and see what we can do there. Okay, so looking at Zygarde, I think that's how you say it. Zygarde, Pokemon Z. Actually catch some of the movie, that was actually pretty impressive. So there's its spinner. You can see that, you know, at level 4 you can make it a lot smaller, but then like one more and it makes it really, really small. And there's its ability, Land's Call, to give ground type Pokemon plus 10. Its spin is actually pretty good now. Like Land's Wrath is actually is possible, and the Dragon's Breath probably hits a lot. Land's Wrath is not going to hit as often as you'd like it, but you know, some double chance plates and stuff like that, and you can get that through. Zygarde. So there's Zygarde doing a disc expansion, and what you would want to do. That's why I didn't understand why I hadn't leveled it up. And what you'd want to do is expand Land's Wrath, and then that 50-70 is right there next to each other. If I give it one more level, which is actually quite hard at 80,000 with an EX, something taxing. I'm still trying to get my Terrakion up to that level. And there, that's expanding it again. So you can see you can pip it out to only have 8ness instead of 9 or 12 that it starts with. And then it's actually much better option. Easier for those double chances. So Steelix, they've made more like Onix, so you can kind of keep the same thing. So when he evolves, he doesn't change too much. So they've changed Crunch to Gyro Ball, so it's 100 attack, and they've decreased the piece wheel size. But then they've also changed Explosion to Pull Down. So what I think with this, and then Screech to Dig, so you can dig underneath. So it's made it more of like a worm Pokemon that digs up and down. But this Pull Down ability, I like it because it kind of goes with the name. So Pull Down knocks the Pokemon to the PC, but doesn't knock it out. So there's effects that say, okay, when it's knocked out, so Magikarps won't evolve. It just gets pulled down and sent to the PC. It doesn't evolve because there's no effect. So it just gets sent directly to the PC. But it kind of like Steelix bites the Pokemon and then pulls it down into the ground, because Steelix also returns to the bench. Does he go to the bench or does he go to the PC? Sent to the PC without knocking it out, and Steelix itself goes to the bench. So he goes to the bench while the other Pokemon get sent to the PC. So that's actually pretty cool. It makes Steelix something a little bit more that you want to use now. And then it's actually decreased its Iron Tail down to 70. So I think that they thought, oh no, this thing's going to be too OP, so let's just stop that. So they've just downsized it a bit. But I mean, that 3-star attack is actually quite strong, and it'll actually work quite nicely. I love that. I'm actually wanting to give that a try. Let's go take a look at him. I've got one of him. Let's see how he looks. Yes, Steelix's new plate. So there's his pull-in, which is actually quite nice and big at 28 pips. And then Gyro Ball is quite nice and big. So this actually makes Steelix like a Pokemon that you want to play. And if you take a look at Onix, you'll see that Onix is not too bad. They still have their 1 MP, but I mean, Onix you can minimize to not have any miss. And then you've got that 82 Rock Slide, while I've been leveling up. And then that's actually pretty good. The Dig, everything else, I might actually want to just run like 3 of these suckers just to see if it can freak people out. And you can see how you've got to do the damage reallocation because they've actually changed it. Oh, no, I haven't changed it. That's me wanting to be funny because I've given it out. So if you go to Steelix, I haven't leveled him up at all. So if you had leveled him up, you'd have to see that disc expansion, and you'd have to redo that because they've changed some of his moves. So Voltorb has had a little bit of increase. Obviously we're going to go into the electric cup, so they're going to try and balance out some of the electric Pokemon. So change Spark from 20 to 30. It's not seriously, but they've increased the wheel size of Explosion. So it really is now like an explosive ball, as well as that they changed it, the Shock Blast effect. So on Shock Blast, that they did 30, if the battle opponent spins an attack higher than 101, so that 101 is like key from all of your other Virizions and your Terrakions. So that 101, if they've leveled it and it's just over that, then that opponent faints as well. So yeah, okay, the 30 knocks out your Voltorb, but then the person that's attacking it, the Pokemon that's attacking it, also gets knocked out. So that's actually quite a nice improvement. It makes like those big Pokemons pretty scared. So Terrakion's not going to just run up to a Voltorb and go nom 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 nom. It's going to go, okay, hold on, let's wait a bit. Here's a look at Voltorb. Voltorb with his Explosion and his Tackle and his Shock Blast now. And you can see again there's the disc expansion. If you haven't done it before, you need to do it quickly, and then we're going to obviously expand his Explosion, and then if you do it really well, you can make sure that there's no miss. You can get rid of all the miss on Voltorb now, instead of having that big chunky miss. So that makes him a little bit more of something to throw out. I think that we're going to get this sucker. No, maybe not. His evolution, I doubt that we're going to get his evolution in the next pup. And then Plusle and Plusle and Minim. They obviously work together. You need to have them together, but I don't see this working. All I do now is I see that one challenge, that quest challenge, is now going to be a little bit more difficult because they've got a person that runs Plusle and Minim. So they've changed Spark to Nuzzle, so it's 20 to 30, and then they've changed Tackle to Spark and increased the wheel size. So I don't know why they just didn't say that they changed Nuzzle to Tackle. Anyway, and decrease the miss, so there's a smaller miss. And then they've added the effect that if the two of them are together, the battle opponent becomes paralyzed. I'm like, we've already got other things that make paralyzed. I can see it maybe if you want to make like a trap deck maybe now with electricity. Somehow you can work that out. I want to see it before I actually decide to start powering these guys up. Most of the time I just tank them to experience for other Pokemon. And then I don't have, like I said, I don't have Minimum and Plusle because I just chuck them into experience into other Pokemon. So but I can't walk you through those ones. And then obviously they apologize again. Kind of want them to stop apologizing. Yes, we understand maintenance, but I mean, you needed to apologize when you downed what was it, Deoxys. You don't need to keep on apologizing. So that's the new balancing. I think it's going to actually be quite a lot of fun to see. I've always wanted to see this next electric deck, but you always go into these new gyms thinking, oh yeah, I've been powering it up, and I've got it to a certain level, and then when you get there you realize someone else has been powering it up more, and then here is your ass. Would you like it? Would you like it upside down? Or yeah, we've beaten you. So let's see how that goes. Anyway, that's the update for this one. I just wanted to make it short and sweet. Well, it's not too short, but I wanted to make it sweet so you can go through those, so that if you're at work or something like that and don't have access to download it, that you can just go through the updates quickly. Okay, cheers then.